That's the sound of me taking a deep breath, Connor.
Wow,
This is the kind of comedy you get here.
I love it. Take a deep breath, everybody. It's time to dive into Peter Capaldi's era.
That's right. Long time coming.
Yeah, we did. Well, it felt like we did Matt Smith's era for a year.
We almost did. It was. I think it took us about 9 months to get through it.
Yeah, and then we had all sorts on the way. Classic era, Torchwood, The Flux, everything
a
you
legend
could imagine.
of the Sea Devils.
A legend, an Eve of the Daleks.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just got in the way.
Yeah.
So now we're finally here with Pete.
And Pete, both of our favourite doctors, is that correct?
Yeah, Peter Capaldi is my favourite doctor.
The man.
And I have a lot of respect for people who say the same.
Aww.
Because
high five.
They're right.
Respect.
Okay, they're right. And that's the right answer to that question. Who's the best doctor? Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi. Peter Malak.
Peter the Squid.
We're going to be talking about Deep Breath today. Episode 1 of Series 8. And we're going to be smashing through all of Series 8 over the next 12 weeks or so.
No interruptions.
No interruptions. No
Fingers
more.
crossed.
I tell you.
No more interruptions. Yeah.
How are you feeling a week since Legend of the Sea Devils came out?
4 days.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I was saying to you this to you off air. I'm definitely going to do a rewatch this weekend. Even though I said in the review I have no intentions of rewatching this.
You lied.
I lied.
You lied.
To the camera, to the audience. Mm-hmm. No, I do agree with that statement. Believe me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I agree with everything I said. But here's the thing. I'm either going to like it more or hate it more. So maybe like it a little bit more than I did. But everyone seems to be saying even the more positive Doctor Who YouTubers, even someone like Crispy. Yeah. Even he had problems with it. So I think that's how you know an episode wasn't fine and dandy.
Yeah. It's really dropped for me. Like, I just, like I was saying to you earlier, like, I just feel so empty about it. Yeah. Like, we should be feeling something about now, right, for this era, considering it has one episode left.
That's what I was trying to say. You did seem a lot more positive.
I did.
In the episode.
I don't hate it, but it's just...
than I did.
Yeah.
But I kind of... Look, I definitely think I let the episode get the best of me because I wasn't exactly the most hyped in that episode.
All right, Nancy.
But I was a negative Nancy in the episode, which I hate because new episode reviews bring in more people who haven't seen the show before, and you only give a first impression once. And I don't want people to think that I... But I think I spoke well enough. But I just... Yeah... I don't know.
That's a good little segue, though. If you're new here, relatively new, welcome back, baby. Because, our Legend of the Sea Devil episode was our most viewed episode, particularly on YouTube. It's got big views. Not big views. We're huge. PewDiePie is envious of us right now.
We are literally swimming in it.
No, but...
You should have seen the car Aidan picked me up in, man. He's balling.
It wasn't even a car, it was a plane.
It was a plane. He pulled up outside my house in a plane.
Yeah, I live in Cali now.
His private jet. The man is balling.
But usually the podcast episodes on the YouTube only get 10 or 15 views. It's got over 100, so that's been good. And the Spotify and Apple Podcasts has done pretty damn good as well. So that's good. That's positive. Welcome.
It is good.
Sorry, that was a bit of a tug on our own wee-wees for a second there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is good. So, and then we got, 6 months till the next episode?
That's right. So 6 months of the channel just going down.
Slowly
and down.
Nose planting into the ground. And then after that, it's another, 11 months?
You're just going to scare yourself.
11 months of nothing.
It's pretty wild that we've been doing this for almost 2 years. And in that time... We have
birthday's
had
coming up.
9 episodes of Doctor Who come out in 2 years. 9 episodes. Yeah. I know COVID, but...
Well, our birthday is coming up as well. That's
our joint birthday.
That's in June, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's early June.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. A lot of celebrations. I know
we should bake a cake.
But I always say I said cake for the 50th, didn't happen. Cake for the 100th. I was going to get a cake made, but the 100th was so busy and so much happened and... There's even stuff in the 100th we couldn't even get to, and Xavier was knocking on the door, man.
He was like, put the pressure on.
He was like, we're going to the pub now.
Yeah, he was there with 3 pints.
And then we had to carry him home at the end of the night. So who was really keen to go to the pub?
That was
us or you. So I mean, he won't hear me say it because he only listens to the episodes that he's on. So
we are the 50% Doctor Who podcast.
50% podcast.
I love Xavier. He's great.
Lovely guy.
We'll have to. A new season means guests come back on.
It does. We've got to figure out with the filming.
Yeah,
setting.
Who's gonna come on, where and how?
Yeah, Dylan, I know, really wants to come on to do Time Heist with us. So
I remember him saying that. Yeah,
we'll have to try and figure out a way. Maybe I can bring my big computer over here or something like that, and we just got to figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, because we're filming in here now.
We are. The in-person films
episode.
All the way, baby.
Until one of us inevitably gets COVID. And
That's
we have to
true, and then we'll have to film
remotely. So.
Shame.
Sad.
You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 50Doctor. We'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions over there. Conor just posted a post of me doing a snorkel of a beer. I've had a long day at work, so I needed a bit of a lift up. So I got one of, I don't even know where it's gone, a snorkel attached, twisty upside down, and down the hatch it goes. You can see all sorts of...
That was such a great effort.
Thank you.
By the way, I've never seen anyone do a beer that quickly.
Yeah, well, I'm good.
You always see people do snorkels with cruisers or ciders. It's easy to go down. Even that's not easy. This guy did a beer in like 2 seconds flat, and
just flexing.
I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty impressed. I couldn't do that.
You happy? I'm happy.
Yeah, that's just the guy drinking beers. So I'm gonna get drunk this episode. It's been a while. Just to let you guys know.
No, there's no better time to do it than in Pete's first episode.
It's celebratory.
But yeah, you can see all sorts of lovely behind the scenes banter, as well as give your thoughts on the episodes over on those socials. That's at 50Doctor. If you ever want to stop on by and have a look at our lovely faces over on the YouTube channel, with the 50% Doctor Who podcast YouTube channel, you also get some lovely bonus videos every couple of weeks. You know, little 5-minute video here, little 10-minute video here.
Weekly, but
yeah, but look, we're not made of time.
50-minute video last week.
That is true. You did a bonus 50-minute video. That's like accidentally making a bonus movie or something.
Fuck me, that was such a nightmare. But yeah, we got it done. We did it. Over Easter, that was such a nightmare. Never filming the 50-minute video on my iPhone ever again with external mics.
I'm surprised you even did it in the first place. So today, talking about Deep Breath, which is the first of the 8 series of the British science fiction television series Doctor Who. First broadcast on the BBC One. And released in cinemas, which we will get to very soon, because we have a story and a half about that one.
Jesus.
On the 23rd of August 2014. It was written by showrunner and producer Stephen Moffat and directed by Ben Wheatley. The episode was watched by 9.17 million viewers and received positive reviews from critics.
That's really good.
You got the Potter gang back. You got Clara as the companion, of course. Yeah. And there's like a half-faced man going around Victorian London, snatching up peeps, dinosaurs. It's the first episode of this new... It's the 12th Doctor era, but it's still in the Moffat era. But it does symbolize a very different... show, you know? It's very different from the Moffat era. Very much more mature, I think.
Oh, 100%. And also, Clara / Jenna Coleman is the first companion to have a different Doctor since Billie Piper, Rose.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were going to say ever, and I was like, excuse me?
No, but since Rose.
Since Rose, yeah, so it had been a while.
And we haven't had that since, have we? I don't think.
I don't think so.
No. So that dynamic is really cool, and I think it's used really well.
Yeah, especially considering how much it was like a shift. Yeah. Because one of my favorite things, and I think I've said this on the podcast before, is that she was, her and Matt, they weren't a couple, but they very much had a lot of chemistry there. Yeah. And I like that in this episode, Pete has to come and be like, Clara, I'm not your boyfriend. She's like, I never said you were. Mistake. And then he said, yeah, I never said it's your mistake.
That's such a great line.
I thought was a great line.
That's such a great line.
It's a great line. Ben Wheatley, let's have a look here.
He directs Into the Dalek as well.
Yes, that's what I thought. I think there is only 2 from memory.
Oh, I love this episode direction.
Yeah. So he directs
really it.
Deep Breath and Into the Dalek, just the 2 episodes, and nothing else sort of Who related or anything as far as I can really find.
Man's directing films now. Let's go.
Yeah, really, really well directed episode from the get-go.
This is awesome. And I remember this was just when I was getting into like directing and like, well, I know you and I and everyone was like Dan and all that, and I was like, I'm really gonna focus on the directing this episode when I first saw it. I was like, I'm a film fan now. I need to be ready to notice this kind of thing. That's and I do. This was a great episode to notice stuff in because I think it's really good.
It is.
And I remember into Dalek being well directed as well, so that was good.
Yeah. On the big screen, this episode looked amazing.
Yep.
It looks
first time since the 50th, which wasn't that long,
which was 2 episodes ago.
Well, in real time, it was only...
It was like 8 months.
8 months.
I think, yeah. It was November to August. But still, like, it was just surreal to be in a line outside the cinema waiting to get in, where we made a lovely friend. Conor, let's do a quick round of where was I when I watched this.
Oh God, this is the bane of my existence. You know, my family and my partner think I'm a terrible person because of this story, and I bring it up quite a lot. Everyone cringes
would say, I think you're a ballsy person for this
story.
Oh, it's
ballsy!
But I'm thankful that you did it. Otherwise, our experience would have had a lot of nom in here. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't you say you told a friend the other day about it?
I think, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny story.
It is a funny story.
We were lying. It's actually a vlog, or I used to call them Let's Watches, where I would like go to the cinema and vlog and say my predictions before and show our reactions after, and then do a review on the live reviews. You can still find the vlog. I think it's up there if you want to really go and find it.
At Nerd Life Reviews, baby.
At Nerd Life Reviews. I actually talk about the guy in it, but we got there super early because we wanted to get really good seats. And to be fair, like I remember the cinema being like really quite packed. Like it was quite relatively packed.
And we were, from memory, like right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Know, like good spot.
We got the pick of the seats because we were right at the front.
Because we're the biggest fans in Perth.
We were the biggest fans in Perth.
Yeah.
And the episode had just come out. Like you could have watched it on like iPlayer and stuff. But we were like, we'll wait to go watch it at the cinema. So we got our ticks. We went there, I think, something ridiculous, like 2 or 3 hours early. And we were, not surprisingly, the first in the line. And then, so we were sat in the line, and then this guy comes and sits next to us. And obviously, you're in a line, so you can't, like, you know, dispatch yourself.
Hey!
You could just...
Fuck off.
Yeah, like, go away. Like, the man was... He was third in line. You and I were first and second.
There. Yep.
And, we got talking, and he seemed like a kind of nice guy, but...
What was interesting to note is this guy really did just seem like a massive Doctor Who fan, like us at the start. And we were kind of vibing, I think.
Do you remember this bit?
I think I know what you're going to say.
He hadn't watched Time of the Doctor?
Yes. So
that was
the
weirdest thing I've ever heard.
He was like raving about Doctor Who and how much of a big fan he is. And then we were talking about the 50th and stuff like that. And then he goes, yeah. And then we were like, what did you think of Matt's final episode, Time of the Doctor? And he was like, oh, I haven't watched that one yet. And we were like, excuse me?
It was the weirdest thing.
No, it was just weird, wasn't it? Like,
it was weird. I remember thinking, wait, what? Like, that's really
like, I know you don't.
Odd.
It is just odd. Like, there's nothing wrong. You don't have to watch every episode of Doctor Who to be a Doctor Who fan.
It had been out for like 7 months, though.
It was just...
a long time.
It was just weird. It was weird that he had no intention to watch it, was my thing. He was like, oh, yeah, no, like, I don't need to watch that one. And I'm like, but...
You're here at the cinema also. Like, he paid money to go see it.
It's a weird...
When you could have watched it for free at home.
It was weird.
I mean, like... We're going to sound like bad people here, and I've been told by my family that it was like people cringing in their boots when I say this, but the guy was just quite annoying. I remember at the time we were in high school, I think.
Yeah, definitely. This is 2015. Yeah.
We were in high school.
2014.
Not to call you out, but you just had your first high school girlfriend. You know what it's like when you get girlfriends in high school. You don't really see your mates much anymore
we'd broken up before this.
Okay. Well, I remember. I don't know what happened, but I remember feeling like I hadn't had a lot of time with you, like just one-on-one.
Sure.
And you said it on the show before. I do like my time with people.
You do.
And then basically I was like, well, I was supposed to have this time with Aidan, and now this guy sat down next to us, and because he sat here with us, I said to Aidan, the guy went to the toilet, and I was like, Aidan, surely he's a bit weird. He seems like a nice guy, but surely he won't sit down with us in the theatre. So doors open, big crowd. Sat down, and we were like, surely he'll dispatch. But we sat down, and the guy sat down next to us.
Well, I don't think we quite got to sit down. We were walking in.
Really?
No, we never sat down. We didn't.
Are you serious?
No, we didn't sit down.
Oh my God.
Do I
not remember this correctly?
We were walking into the cinema, and you were turning to me oh, what are you gonna do? Because the thing is, he was just one of those talkers, like where he just kept like talking, and it is a silly thing to complain about, and I hate because I just sound like such a bitch for saying this kind of thing.
Right.
But he just like kept going and going, and we were like going up the stairs, up the cinema.
He
next to the
definitely went to
seats.
turn.
No, so we
go in.
turned into the seats, and the three of us were walking along the aisle, and Conor was like, "Should I say something?" And I was yeah, because I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
and you just
I know,
turned around.
You didn't. That's the thing. Like Aidan wouldn't say anything, and I knew you wouldn't. And I was like, I've got to say something because I don't get time with you. This is gonna scar me for life. But I was like, I remember just like literally just stopping and like leaning my hands on like the little seat in front of me, and I was like, hey man, like like. I don't really get a lot of time with my friend here. Like, we haven't had a lot of time recently. Like, we came in together, just have some, like, one-on-one time. Like, do you mind if I just sit with him?
In my memory, you turned around and you went, fuck you! Leave me alone with my fucking friend!
I would never...
Leave me alone!
Is that how you tell the story to people? Is that how you tell the story to people?
No.
I would never say
I do
that.
remember it being slightly blunter in the execution. I'm sure
it was.
Almost what you said, but I think it was kind of blunter.
I'm sure it was blunt, but I remember being quite, especially in senior school, like constantly anxious that my friends who I actually knew very well, who did like me, you go through stages where you're like, my friends hate me. I just want time with them to prove to them that we're still good mates, and I just want to have good times and good memories. Like, it's a really weird time. Your hormones are left, right, and center. And I thought this guy was kind of just going to ruin it for us. Yeah. So I basically told him politely to, like, piss off, basically. And I was like, hey, man, like, you got to go. Like, I'm sorry, but I probably said it like that. Like, I was just like, I'm sorry. Like,
you gotta go, man. You gotta fuck right off right now.
And I just sat there, and I remember, I think this is why I have bad memories of this episode, because I just sat there the whole time being like, man, like, I'm a terrible person. And I remember when it finished, like, you and me were like, we need to go right now. We're not running into him. And then, of course, Murphy's Law, we got all the way down the bottom of the stairs, and we just literally all made eye contact. And we were just like, all right, we'll go our separate ways. Didn't say anything. But I think I remember he was wearing a Doctor Who shirt as well. Oh, God, I felt so terrible. And then everyone I tell the story to is like, he was probably just a bit of a lonely guy who just wanted to make friends, who liked Doctor Who.
He was.
But
I think he tried to make friends with the most rudest people in the world.
I'm sure that back in the day, we were,
We were kids. We did dumb things with kids. We do.
How old are we? 15?
Yeah, about that, I think. Yeah.
Not even that, maybe. Yeah, 15. Like, come on.
This guy was intruding on our Doctor Who time.
On our Doctor Who time.
Oh my God.
It was so important to me to have. I mean, we only had like one more. No, we had 3 experiences in the theatre together. This, Pilot, and When We Fell to Earth. Yeah. This is our first experience in the theatre together. Anyway, it's just not something I would do personally, like go up to people. And I had a very similar thing happen when I went to go see this rapper Illy. Like, a guy like came over to us, and it was like chalk and cheese. I was convinced it was the same guy. I told him it's the same story, because he just came over and he was like, I mean, it's like, let's lose this guy. Like, now we're older and there's alcohol involved. We're like, fuck it, let's just walk off and like just leave him, because I'm not into that. I'm not into going over to people. And
it is, yeah.
I sound terrible now.
You do.
I sound terrible.
Okay.
I've been told by
Don't worry,
literally my partner and my family that I'm an awful person for doing this, and that the poor guy was just trying to. But I just remember when it finished, we were literally just like, we need to fucking go. Like, we need to get out. It's a great story, though.
It is.
Oh, my God.
It's a lot of fun. Seeing it in cinema was awesome. I think I switched off from that very quickly, that situation, and just got invested in the movie.
And I'm just like... yeah, pretty much. I still enjoyed it in the city. I still enjoyed the theatre experience.
I remember us leaving though, and I was like, "Oh, I really enjoyed that." And I remember you being like, "Yeah, this is not what it used to be," kind of thing.
Yeah, I do remember that. I never loved it much.
I think I literally went home. I think we got out of the cinema at about 4.
Yeah.
And I remember it was that kind of not sun setting, but it was that like late afternoon where it's getting a bit warmer tones and stuff. And I went, I got home, and by 7 o'clock I was watching it on ABC with my mum again. Yeah. And I enjoyed it again then. I've always felt, and I feel like there's a lot more appreciation for Deep Breath now, but back in the day, I felt like I was one of the only people that kind of enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, because you always, whenever I think of this episode, I always think of you. And even rewatching it, I was like, lovely. I think of you. Ooh, yeah, I'm like, this is Aidan's jam.
It is my jam.
Like, you're right, though, yeah, definitely leaving the theatre. And then I remember, but all the guys as well, like, like Declan and Daniel, they were like, I loved it. I'm like, maybe I'm just missing something here. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's the PTSD from that guy. Like, I don't know. Maybe he just messed it up for me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But yeah, you always loved it.
I did. I think from memory, online, it wasn't that well appreciated within the fandom. But that being said, like looking at the reviews just then, they were all like between 4 and 5 stars. So it was pretty positively received critically.
Yeah.
So that's good.
They even released, remember they did the single release?
DVD
they released and Blu-ray?
Oh, I forgot about that.
What did they say?
Just Deep Breath, just the one episode on DVD.
I remember being like, I'm going to buy that.
Yeah.
I never did.
Just to complete your daytime and Deep Breath collection.
So, well, they were really treating it like a movie, and it's an hour 15, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's the same length as the 50th, down to a minute. I'm pretty sure.
Time length, which I really like. They did that. It's really cool that it's longer.
Yeah,
I love that.
I will say, I did feel like it could have been shorter.
I agree.
Rewatching it,
but I still kind of like that it's quite long.
Yeah,
I do love a long episode.
Yeah,
even though I do agree.
Yeah,
I do like a long episode.
There's just a few, like, I got to the last half on this rewatch, and I was like, okay, I wasn't losing interest, but I was finding myself maybe checking my phone.
Yeah, fair enough.
Stuff, like I wasn't, maybe that is losing interest. I was still enjoying it, but I wasn't as invested as I was for the first half. Voice break, sorry.
Well, 11th hour was 60 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was like 60 or 65 or something.
So yeah, it's interesting that we got the extra 10 or 15 here. That stuff always interests me, but it's cool. It's cool they did this. This is a very interesting episode.
It is. I think there's a lot to love. Like, even just looking at this photo on Wikipedia right now of the clockman, and it's got the reflection on the dish, and that had Peter's reflection. That's
such a great shot.
There's excellent shots, excellent moments of reflection. The way that the scenes play out is so
you probably
damn good.
Remember where you got this face from, and then it's like the reflection of Peter, because he can't remember where he got the face from Fires of Pompeii, which actually gets addressed in season 9 for some reason. Weird, eh? Like, it's so weird.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
But this, like, just the scenes just feel so much more mature. And not in the way as like they got to like Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon, and they were like, let's make this shit real adult, and they just made it all dark and dark blue and everything. This is like mature in the subject matter. I think, I love the fact that they're talking about how they don't think Clara sees the Doctor for who he really is, and things like that. And there's the whole sequence with the veil, and the veil gets removed, which was a little bit cliche, but I still kind of rated it. There's also that first act for me, I think, is some of the best Doctor Who. Just those characters. And Peter, right off the bat, is insanely hilarious. Like, he must have been on some form of drug at some point in making this, because he's proper bananas. Like, I think I just kept saying that I think as I was watching it, I kept just like whispering to myself, he's bananas. He's bananas.
Yeah, it's that like wacky ass regeneration.
Yeah,
gibberish.
Yeah, it's
piano. Yeah. Boom. Dude, that sound. There's some interesting editing choices in this, but I'm still... It ain't no Legend of the Sea Devils, alright? That's all I'm saying.
I always forget as well that Neve McIntosh, that's the name, right? Neve McIntosh?
Yeah.
She's Scottish.
Yes.
So when like she talks to him, he's like, oh, finally someone that talks English or something.
Finally someone who talks normal. Yeah.
And then there was one other funny... Oh, like early on when Pete wakes up in the bed and he just like goes...
The chalk.
And he just starts like crawling along the floor, sniffing like, and he likes the chalk and starts drawing. And there's this great shot that just pulls up of him on the floor drawing.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so good.
Yeah. So, what do you think of the opening?
The opening scene, I love.
Yeah,
I think the T-Rex looks awesome. Like, I don't care that it's massive. Like, I thought it was awesome. I think
really cool.
The set design was awesome. On the side there, having the TARDIS come down, it looked beautiful. Clara steps out looking all frazzled. It's so funny there when... Does he think she's Strax or something from memory? Like they get
handles.
Yes.
Handles and Strax. Yeah.
And look, I know...
Used to be a little robot head thing.
I know...
You've really let yourself go.
I know you're talking shit about the editing because you messaged me this week about the slow-mo shots, right?
Always noticed that.
But, yeah, I've always noticed that. But, my response to you was, I thought you were talking about something else. I didn't actually watch the clips you sent because I was doing a funeral at the time. If you want to know what I was doing at a funeral, watch our Torchwood Part 2 special.
Hey, there you go.
But I actually really loved the little bits of slow-mo. I
like them.
I think they're weird, but they're so cool.
It's weirdly cool, and I wonder... I don't know if it was... I mean, you're more fucking... you've fucking shot and stuff before. You've filmed stuff before.
I have.
You've done films.
I've made a couple.
Do you reckon... was it something to do with... we had that conversation about in time the Doctor... It cut to a shot of the Daleks to maybe cover up maybe an audio error or something. Was it something like that, do you reckon?
Possibly, but... They would have had to have intentionally shot that at a higher frame rate.
That's what I'm saying, because it doesn't look bad.
It's really smooth slow-mo.
It's very smooth, which leads me to believe... Yeah.
It must have been intentional, right?
Isn't it like 30 fraps or something you meant to shoot in, or 60 fraps?
No, you usually shoot at 24, 25.
That's it, yeah.
And then you can go slow-mo, 50, 120, or way beyond that.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. It does seem like it's shot...
I think it was intentional. I just think they were like, okay, let's just do a quick run of you in slow-mo, and then if there's moments like, where we want it to be kind of weird, let's do it. And I think it was awesome.
Do you know what? Maybe they're just like, Pete's brain, the Doctor's brain's working slowly.
Yeah.
So maybe, okay, fair enough. I mean, it works really well. There's a shot of him when he finally, he's like, everyone take 5. It works really well then.
Fools, yeah.
Excuse me. But it's like...
The only thing I could think of that was maybe a thing that they did in editing was that maybe they shot it just for the everybody take 5 line where he falls. Yeah. Because that's... Maybe they were like, we'll get that fall in slow-mo.
Yeah.
And then they were like looking at it and they were like, we can actually use little bits like that. Because I use that all the time when I shoot. I run takes a little longer before and after.
Sure.
So you maybe have that wiggle room and there's other stuff you can do with it.
I think it works really well. Even like I've always loved the... Strax knocking on the door and him being like shush, and then like opens up and like the smoke comes out and it closes.
It's so good.
Like it's a very well
so well directed.
We were talking about directing the other day, and like other day, I mean Monday, it's Thursday, but I was thinking a lot about directing in Doctor Who, and even watching this episode, and not to shit on Chibnall, that's not what we do here, but like even watching this episode and just like man, like. I feel like even on a bad day, like, Stephen, I'm not even saying this was a bad day for him with Deep Breath, but like, the dialogue is like, this is a very well-written episode. Like,
it is.
To watch this and then to watch like Legend of Sea Devils and then watch this and just see how many emotional beats and moments and scenes
it's lovely
are in the episode, and then you look at something like Legend of Sea Devils where there's maybe like 1 or 2 scenes of emotion, and this episode is just full of emotion. Multiple scenes like that, that's 2 we saw. I think like it's like chalk and cheese to compare the two. There's so much more emotional scenes, and that opening is I love how the detective says the dinosaur laid an egg.
Yeah.
And then Vash is like, funny. It just spat a police box out. It's man, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like your grasp of biology troubles me.
Yeah, that's
so good.
I think it just looks so colourful, the whole episode. And like there's bits that are grayer, but they're not grey like Marvel grey. Like there's blues, a bit more black blue in the shadow and stuff like that. Like it still feels really, really colourful, and I love it. I love this Victorian world. I wish we went back.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
That's it for the Paternoster gang.
I don't know. I wonder why they never showed up again. It was kind of sad knowing it was their last one. It's really cool they had an episode with Pete, but
Yeah, it just feels like it's like I guess a nice like carryover from because they were very Smith era companions, but it's like one of those things where they probably should have been there in Smith's final story or something, but they also work as a carryover into Pete's era. but you also feel like maybe they could have had a bookend and had them be in series 10 or in Twice Upon a Time.
Everyone was always bloody yelling for a spin-off, and it never happened. I think it was a really smart thing for Stephen to do, though. Like, bring in the pad Nostradamus, which people have been used to. They're familiar with the characters, and obviously people are familiar with Cara. So it's a hard thing to do, to bring in a new Doctor. Everyone loved Matt Smith. Everyone loved David Tennant. It's hard to always, take over. It was a hard thing to do, but having literally those 4 characters that you'll know and people love, it helped.
And also having them not get along was really a real good touch as well. I thought
it's really good.
They, the characters weren't perfect. Cara was flawed in this episode.
Yeah.
And she kind of learnt throughout it. And oh my god, once the episode gets going and you have Cara and Pete working together, that dinner sequence is hilarious. So they're so funny, bouncing off of each other. They're such a good Doctor companion duo.
They are. That episode, that scene is so great. It's a really good highlight.
Yeah.
I think.
Especially it starts off really awkward. Yeah. And it just progressives. You go through, it's like a roller coaster.
And just even in the direction, I noticed in the shot, it's like a wide of them just complaining and just bantering with each other and bickering, but you see the clockwork robots in the background. But if you actually notice, they're not actually eating.
Yeah, they're just,
because that comes back into the scene later. They're just doing that, but you can just see their shadows in the frame at the bottom, and then they're arguing at the top.
Yeah.
Just some nice little neat bits of direction that I noticed. I really like that stuff. We
had a combusting dinosaur and a hilarious scene. I remember we used to always quote the bit where it's I will make you safe. I will take you home again.
Dude, the safe.
Yeah, that's the safe one. Yeah, rocking
home.
Again. Yeah. That's so funny, dude.
Yeah, that's great.
And then this sequence got a bit blue for my liking, but it's fine. Where he jumps on the horse.
Oh my days.
The score is going bananas.
Dun 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 dun. Man, Murray really kills it. This episode, so distinctly different. Beautiful stuff.
It's really good.
I love what he does with Peters in these scores. It's so great. I need to go to the toilet. I apologize.
That's cool. I'm going to talk a little bit about. We used to always sit around and we'd go, man, I wonder what the Doctor's catchphrase is going to be.
Yes.
And in this episode, twice, Pete says, the question is. And so for so long, we were pretty damn certain. I'm going to close that because my battery's dying, my computer. We were so damn certain that Pete's catchphrase was going to be, the question is. And then he said it once more in his entire run of the show, and so we were wrong. I think he says it again in Listen from memory. I don't know. One thing that I want to talk about as well, whilst Connor's gone and I'm just riffing here, is that the hype for Series 8. I remember when that trailer came out, I made a trailer breakdown for it for our old YouTube channel when we were kids, Nerd Life Reviews, that we were talking about earlier. And I remember being so excited by the trailer, and then they made them promos, and it was 5 days to go, and it was in slow-mo of the TARDIS exploding, and Pete stood on the stairs going like this. Do you remember those promos?
Oh man, do I ever.
Dude, the hype was so good.
Yeah, those teaser trailers. Oh my god! I remember there's one he answered the phone and he got shocked, and you see the 2 hearts, and it had the dialogue from the Dalek saying, "I've seen your soul, Doctor.
Yeah,
I see hatred." Yeah. Oh man,
I was talking about on Nerd Life Reviews that I made the trailer breakdown for it, and it was
yeah,
the trailer was so cool. It was boom, 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 boom.
Dude, the Dalek heartbeat.
Yeah.
By the way, about the you're right about the catchphrase, by the way. I was convinced it was going to be question. And I kind of wish they ran with it, but I also respect that Moffat was everyone thinks there's going to be one, and there isn't. So fuck you.
That is the real twist here.
That's the real twist. But I was convinced it was going to be question.
Well, it wasn't.
That's not the question. The question is... Have there been any similar murders?
Pudding brains.
Pudding brains.
That sequence looks great with the burning flames and stuff.
Did you say you have a goof?
I do have a goof. Oh, Conor has found a goof.
Perfect.
Cool.
We'll get there.
And so then we get into some lovely day sequences. We have the bit where Pete's like, eyebrows! You can open bottle caps with these eyebrows.
So good.
Yeah. You take someone's eye out.
Amazing.
That was...
That is a great scene. We get
you get to know him.
You get to know him. Get to know him. And you do get a little bit of an idea of him. I mean, there was two things going in the episode. Everyone was like, are they going to reference the fact that he's had this face before? And also, everyone was like, are they going to reference the fact that the clockwork robots have been in an episode before? And the clockwork robots get a brief mention of Amanda Pompadour. Which was great,
because I didn't see it coming.
I forgot about it, hey?
Yeah, well, I remember like watching it at the cinema, and then they were like, Madame de Pompadour, and I was like...
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's the clockwork robots!
It's funny, because like, through the episode, Pete's like...
Where have I seen them?
He's like, I'm missing something here.
Yeah.
This seems oddly familiar, because he's like, taking human parts and using it for your shit. That seems oddly familiar.
But it never clicked with me. What about you on your first viewing?
No. It didn't. I mean, I was always like, yeah, you know what? It's been a while, but I do remember being like surprised and like happy to hear it. And I was like, they might not put any references in, but it was like, yeah, it was really cool. I mean, that's the thing. Like, no one actually knew. There was rumors there was like the clockwork robots, but it's not really. They're not really the same per se. They kind of are. They kind of not, and they don't really go into it. And they don't really need to.
Yeah,
and
I think it's great how it's done. Yeah,
it's like the sister ship almost. I think they say. Yeah, the design's so good.
The little blowtorch and the half face looks so good.
Yeah, I remember seeing that actual the prop of it at the Doctor Who experience. It was awesome. Even the eye is just like it looks so good with like the face. It's kind of like half. Not even half, like a quarter of it's like missing. The design is awesome. But that scene in like the alleyway is really great. And I remember distinctly, like in our cinema, like Pete was killing it. People loved it instantly. People were laughing really hardly at everything that he was saying.
Which is great.
He instantly seemed to win people over. So that's always good. And I've always liked Pete though. So, you know.
Yeah, he's definitely, for me, I didn't appreciate enough at the time. You know, like I always really loved him.
Exactly the same.
But I always thought, you know, he was let down by his episodes and like the scripts and stuff, which to an extent, I think that there is an element of that. But he's just so good in it throughout. And I'm excited to see how it all holds up as an era on rewatch.
Yeah. But isn't it, I mean, it's even interesting how, like, you know how, even in the episode, like, you're right about it being a darker tone. Even how he, like, leaves Clara at one point. He's like, well, there's no point us both, like, getting caught.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that he does plan to come back and get her, but he had no way of knowing she wouldn't have died. And it's just different to Matt. I think Stephen did such a good job, but, he's such a different Doctor as well, and that's so good. And Pete gives such a different performance, and that's exactly what we needed.
It is.
Yeah.
I think what we should do now is recreate what's
this?
A milestone scene that, you know, my favorite scene for like my entire youth. Okay. I don't know why this shit was so funny to me, because it's such a classic sitcom thing, and I think that's why I found it funny.
Sure.
Just because you don't expect it. Let's find something here.
Have you got a Times in your?
Here's my Times newspaper. Would you like to be Strax or Clara?
I'll be Clara. You can eat me.
Okay.
All right. I'm in frame. I'm all good.
We're all good. The Times. Shall I send it up?
Sure.
We've done a lot of really silly, unfunny things on this show, and that is definitely up there.
I love the Times.
Shall I send it up? That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I didn't do. Yeah.
So good.
But there's also like a hilarious sequence after that, which I remember watching it. I was like, this serves no purpose in the episode. But Strax is there like scanning Clara, and he's like looking in her brain and stuff.
There's a there's a lot of men doing sport.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's porn.
Yeah. They're talking about porn.
It's guys having sex. Yep.
That is going to lead me.
Thanks, Stephen.
Connor.
Thank you, Stephen.
To shake things up a little bit.
Go on.
That's going to lead me.
I love how we're talking about like porn. You're like, that changed things up. Now let's go and do this.
That's it. Doctor Screw rewatch. That's what we're doing. The best porn parody. No,
okay, Doctor Screw.
We're going to shake things up. We're going to go into Go for the Week. Go for the Week. Took me 3 times to press that button.
I love it.
Go for the Week is the segment where we talk about the silly little screw-ups and stuff-ups, you know. Obviously, there's all sorts of little things here and there, but we just look at the main big dog things. Excuse me. Me and Connor have one each. My one is from this scene. So, there's literally... So, I think Clara's washing her clothes in, like, a basket or something at the start of that scene, from memory.
Okay.
And so, the first, like, of her shots in the scene, she's got this thing in front of her.
Yep.
And then, for the entire rest of the exchange... Her shots, the exact same shots, the exact same frame, it's gone. And it's like this big thing in front of her. Like, okay. I'm not kidding. Like, when you know. Like, it's gone until the last shot of the scene. It's there again.
And it's back.
It's so bananas.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny as fuck. What is yours?
My thing, and I just realised it whilst reviewing it with you here.
You did.
So when the episode begins... The TARDIS lands in the Thames and it's empty.
Yeah.
And then the Doctor jumps off the Thames into water.
Is the Thames completely empty?
I had a feeling this was going to be said. I don't know, but it looked pretty fucking empty to me. Why was the Thames empty
again?
I don't know. The Thames must have gone a bit...
I thought they were just on a bank on the Thames.
I think it looks empty because isn't the dinosaur walking on like an empty Thames? I'm pretty sure it is.
Why would it be... When was the Thames ever emptied in history?
It got a bit empty at some point due to like fracking and stuff probably. I'm sure it's been empty at some point. It must have at some point.
It just says they landed on the banks of the River Thames. I think it's just... I think they're just on the bank, mate.
Now it's like full of like shopping trolleys and Tesco bags and
stuff.
Now
it might as well be empty.
Okay, right, there goes rolls. I swear, Greg's. I fucking swear there's
I don't know why I said Greg's.
I swear there's literally landscape shots of it empty. I swear. The Thames would have been empty at least once in fucking history.
Let's Google it.
I'm sure.
The Thames? How do you spell Thames again? It's weird, isn't it?
I know in the 1800s there was the Great Frost Fair, which is what a Doctor
Yeah, there's a Doctor Who episode on it.
Yeah, that's
Thames
how I know.
Why are you telling me that?
How do you not know that?
The Thames is nowhere to be... James Bond? What?
The James Bond theme?
Excuse me? Can I just say, Connor, can you also affirm for me the fact that...
Has the theme ever been empty?
Oh, it says theme, not Thames. I was like, I've written, has the Thames ever been emptied? And the first option is James Bond theme, Wikipedia.
It's the most famous theme, to be fair.
How do you spell the Thames?
Thames? Don't ask me. Christ.
Yeah, there we go. It's with an...
I swear it must have been. Horses are racing on in that picture.
Hey, but the river started to die due to pollution, sewage in 1957. Fine, let's see if there's any pictures.
And when's this
pictures or it never happened? Pictures or it never happened.
Told you, there's horses racing on it.
I don't think...
And that's when this episode set, remember? In the 18, whenever that was just set.
This just said 1570 or something, I think
there you go. That's when... That's the Victorian times, isn't it?
I don't know.
Hey, man, I'm telling you right now, the Thames look fucking empty. There you go, there's a massive sinkhole.
Why is there a massive sinkhole?
I think that's fake.
Is that from 2012?
Yeah, I think there's a... I had no, I can see it would.
Yeah, which... Let's move on. Let's move on from this.
They're like...
What the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, the Thames was empty, though. I'm telling you. Anyway, it was. It was until Peter...
jumped in it. Well, the water had all come back by that point.
Sure. I'm sorry. If it was empty, how come there's a dinosaur walking? You didn't hear splashing water and stuff. It was empty in the episode. I'm telling you. I can't believe anyone who noticed that. Dylan probably knows.
Let us know. Dylan will message us about it.
Alright, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So then we've got Jenny. Is it Jenny? Jenny
yeah.
Flint. she is posing for Vastra very saucily, but Vastra's just there for the view.
Sexy times.
That's it.
Yeah, so what do you think of Jenny, Strax, and Vastra? Are they
fun, dude.
Are they in snooze patrol for you?
What do you mean snooze patrol?
Like, are you fucking over them? Are you ready?
No.
You ready to wrap up?
This is like my favorite episode they've done, I think.
Really?
Like, in terms of them.
I've never loved the Paternoster gang, I'm going to be honest.
Okay, well,
I've never really
you just don't like fun.
I love fun. Ask anyone. Literally, ask anyone. I love fun. What's so funny?
I don't know, man.
I do love fun.
So tired.
I love fun. All right?
You do? Okay, ain't it fun?
I mean, I'm just saying I've never loved the Paternoster gang. I've never been interested in their big finish, and I wouldn't have been interested in a spin-off.
Okay.
But that being said, they're a cool presence in Doctor Who when they do show up.
They're fun in this one.
I just don't get why they're never brought back.
Need I remind you of the times?
Yeah!
So I send it up.
Yeah, no, that's fun. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. But I'm just saying...
You hate fun.
Yeah, they're not my favourite.
Okay. I think Vastra is a great presence in this one. Jenny's very much background, and then Strax is comedic relief. But I feel like Vastra is so strong in this episode. It's
Vastra's
so
really good.
I love that.
Vastra's a really good presence in the episode, but I just feel like, Jenny's in the background. And I hate stupid gags sometimes, and Strax is always a dumb gag.
I like him in this episode. I don't really like Strax in general, but this episode I thought he was funny. Forgive me. Maybe I was just in a really good mood watching this episode.
No, it's cool. Like, a lot of people love this episode. I had a good chat with Vinny about it, and she said it got me back into Doctor Who. And I know a lot of people really do value this episode, but I can't help feel like this was not what I expected when I first watched it. I didn't expect it to be set in like Victoria, London. I was pleasantly surprised, but it was not what I was expecting.
Okay, dear. Okay. All right, so how do we go from here? Oh my God, Connor, that was a historically horrendous burp.
I'm sorry.
We have 4 cases of spontaneous combustion, and so they figure it out on the newspaper. They're talking about something Impossible Girl. I don't know. They freaking heckin'. They go to this restaurant which we spoke about.
But yeah, it's cool. That's Missy setting it up. It's not the Clockwork Man. It's not the women in the shop. It's the same thing.
And she makes an appearance in this episode.
She does. She's finally going to see Michelle Gomez for the first time, which is a really cool appearance.
So many Scottish people in this episode.
Yeah, it's a really cool appearance. And yeah, but I love that scene, and the fact they got put together like through like the newspaper and stuff. Awesome.
Yeah, and it is spooky. It's spooky and also funny. Like the clockwork robots doing their thing, and then they get up to leave, and then it's like, maybe we can take another look at the menu.
Yeah, every step they take forward, like everyone takes a step forward every time they go to walk.
They get closer and closer. Yeah,
and then when they go back one step. And they're back and back and back. Yeah, it's really cool.
And then they sit in the chair, and the chair goes down into the ground, and the doctor wants his Sonic or something. His Sonic's on the floor, right? And Clara like gets her feet and picks it up and throws it, and it lands on the doctor's dick.
And there's a joke about it landing on the doctor's testicles.
Penis joke.
There's a mention. I think the last mention of Amy we ever get, because he's like, it's times like these I miss Amy because of her long legs. This is written by Stephen Moffat, by the way. Called out. Her
cheeky bugger.
Amy's long legs, which Moffat clearly noticed.
There's a reference in Impossible Astronaut as well, where when they all come out of the TARDIS and the Doctor's like, "This is the nose, the legs, and Mrs. Robinson or something."
The legs, yes. I mean, the most seedy thing he's ever done is it's your glass floor. And my husband underneath.
We're not going to talk about that.
Jesus, that's it.
That one was sus.
That's Moffat's writing for you. But
look, we'll move on from that one speedily.
Yeah, that's it's a really good scene though, and I really like it.
It was. And then we get this scene with the Clockwork Man underneath, and the Doctor runs off, which is
I love that.
Is really great. And
he's just like, fuck you, I'm going.
It's like, for an episode that's all about the 12th Doctor, and somehow, despite him... this sentence is got away from me a bit. For an episode that is like the introductory episode of the 12th Doctor, which relies heavily on the companion and going through the companion's eyes, and also having the final scene of the episode be the previous Doctor who was so universally loved.
I know, yeah.
Somehow, it doesn't feel like Pete gets done dirty.
Yeah.
Like it feels, maybe it's a 75-minute runtime or something, but it feels like he still gets a solid episode, even though it's kind of the beginning of Clara Who, as people used to say. And, and Matt's in it. So...
Yeah, you're right. I definitely think that... Yeah. Look, I agree. I think he gets a lot to shine in, but it was interesting. It was interesting how they did that. But I think Clara is really good, but they definitely do... Moffat really does lean into living the episode through, like you said, through the companion's eyes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like a little bit too much when... She mentions his age heaps and his grey hairs, and like, hang on a minute, this is clearly Moffat being like, and I can tell the fans are already going to say, he's grey and old, he can't play the Doctor. Like,
yeah, we'll get to that. That comes at the end. That comes at the end of the episode.
Really?
Well, because we got Matt, the whole Matt thing, and that kind of all ties into that.
But yeah.
So I guess from here it's like, the sequence. Underground, and Clara's on her own, and it feels very tense. She has to hold her breath, and I was like, damn.
That's so great.
I feel really tense right now. I love that the episode's title has like a metaphorical meaning, but also a physical meaning in the episode, where it's like, how long can you hold your breath? But it's also like, take a deep breath, guys. We're going into a whole different, it's very different to what you've had in the past 10 years of the revival.
There's a really great shot and scene where like she runs out in the main area holding her breath, and then she gets around the corner and she almost goes to like breathe in again.
Yeah.
And as an audience member, you're like, thank God she got out. And I forgot about this rewatching it, and then she goes around the corner and there's more of them just sitting there.
It's so good.
And she's like, I can't hold it in anymore. And then she breathes out, and then they all surround her.
Mm-hmm. And then Pete comes in, save the day.
Wearing Matt's face.
It's not Matt's face.
It is.
It's actually?
Oh, you don't know?
No?
I didn't say it because I thought it was in behind the scenes.
No.
It's do you know when Matt had to wear... I don't know, it's something. Matt had like a prosthetic face, and the only one they had hanging around the BBC was of Matt Smith, so they put that on Peter Capaldi, and then he pulled off. Do you know it was Matt's face?
No.
It was used at some point, and that was it. On Time of the Dots, when they did all the old face makeup, they molded Matt's face.
Oh,
and because they had that spread at the BBC, they put that on Matt Smith, and they used that as the model of that thing. And so when he pulls it off, it's actually Matt Smith's face. That's Matt's face.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So then the big hot air balloon made of skin flies up into the sky.
It's like a massive testicle.
It is a giant scrotum.
It's a scrotum.
A giant scrotum. Actually.
And this scene is so good because it's like, I love how Pete's Doctor's like, let's sit down and have a drink, and he's like, why? He's like, because I got a bad feeling I'm gonna have to kill you.
Yeah.
Ooh, baby, we're a dark
Them
Doctor
scenes
now.
All about morals and stuff, where
so
he's up there,
good.
and
so good.
He's like, one of us isn't gonna make it out of here, or something. He says one of us is
like part of their program, and it's like he's like, the clockwork's like, I can't kill myself, and then the Doctor's like, well, I can't kill. And then he says at the end, he's like, it's part of my... He's like, I can't... That's it. The clockwork's like, I can't kill myself. It's against my program. And the Doctor says, same with me killing someone.
Yeah.
And then...
word for word.
And then he's like, word for word. I'm doing my best here. I apologize. But, and then he's like, he's like, one of us was lying. I think we know who.
That's great. And then it's just
because you never know.
You never know. It's just the clockwork.
What do you think happened?
Up.
I think the clockwork jumped out. I don't believe.
I think that's probably more likely, but also Doctor's crazy at this point. I don't know.
Just fucking pushes him out.
Probably the robot. I think probably, but also you think about it. The Doctor's like, he won't kill a life, but robots, like they're not human. I don't know.
It lands literally on the top of the spike on Big Ben.
That was good aim. They must have like been standing there on the edge of the
perfectly
of the edge of the hot air balloon, like wait.
Perfectly.
Right, now fall and lean backwards, go. And then it goes on
hundreds of years, Matt Smith is caught when they get ripped off by it when he's holding on to the TARDIS in 11th hour.
That's true.
It's a good little throwback.
That is. Have you seen that Big
though.
Ben has been? They've taken the renovations, the scaffolding off of it for the first time in like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it was being renovated for ages. Wasn't it?
I was there whilst it was being renovated.
Yeah, because in the Vossi Bop music video for Stormzy, it's been renovated.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, that's history.
Yeah, sure.
What happened? Was it just COVID that slowed it down?
I assume it was meant to be closed for 3 years, I think, and then
it took 3 years to repair.
It took longer than that. Because
Wow.
when was I last there? I was in 2017 to 18 New Year. I was in London last, and it had been on for about a year, I think, at that point.
Wow.
So, and then it's only just come off, so it's been like 4 or 5 years.
Well, I suppose it's not really just like parts you can buy from Bunnings. It's like, it's like...
Let's go pick up a few parts of Big Ben from Mitre 10.
Yeah, like what... Is there some fucking solid gold in Big Ben, do you reckon?
Yeah, probably. They've like changed it a bit as well. Like if you're looking at it, there's like UK flags on there, the England flags and stuff. There's a bit going on. You should have a look. It looks very shiny, new, and golden.
I love Big Ben.
Yeah.
When I went in 2016, there weren't no scaffolding around it. I just looked
Well,
at
I've been twice and there was no scaffolding on it.
I've seen
It's only
it.
the third time there was.
I've seen it without scaffolding around it.
All right. What's this flex you're trying to do here? What's this? You're talking to a podcast where 50% of the listeners live in England.
I've seen it without scaff around it.
Yeah.
Ain't no scaff around it in the Victorian era.
What got a bit air was in like the last scrap. It's just like the pattern the gang fall from the ceiling, which was like fine, and then for ages there's like 15 minutes where it's the Doctor having this great conversation, and they just keep cutting back to just like the slow-mo of them all fighting the robots and stuff, and it's like, okay, we get it, we're just gonna keep doing this. And then there's the first ever lesbian kiss on screen for Doctor Who.
Correct.
Might be the first ever gay kiss in general.
Lizard kiss.
Lizard and female kiss. What was weird was the talking in their heads thing.
Yeah, what the fuck was that about?
Part of me thinks that maybe
Breathe into my
it was
lungs.
just going to be like a kiss or something, and then the BBC were like,
No,
you've,
don't.
You've got to say,
That's so
you've
true.
got to imply
Of
that it's an air
course.
thing. She's doing it to keep her alive. That could be so wrong. It just feels very
you're
weird.
fucking right.
It feels very weird.
I think you're fucking right because there is no indication that Vastra can telecommunicate to anyone, let alone Jenny. Fuck, I think you're right because, oh my god, I think you're right. I think they might have just shared one last kiss as they're about to die.
It was quite controversial when it happened. I remember it wasn't as easy as everyone just being like, oh, it's the first gay kiss in Doctor Who. I remember there was
People need to
quite
fucking shut up about that shit.
a
Who gives a
thing.
fuck, honestly? It's so dumb. I think you're right, though. I actually think you're right.
Maybe. We never know.
I think you're
We'll
right.
never know.
I think you're right.
We'll ask Moff.
We'll
Get
ask
him on the
Moff.
show.
Yeah.
How does it end after that?
There's a big testicle in the sky.
Yeah.
We get the mention to...
Whatever happened to the giant testicle?
I don't know, because it's like... It's implied that, like... It's implied that the Doctor, like... somehow landed it and then, like, runs to the TARDIS and flies off, and that's when he picks his costume and...
Right, yeah, that's
and
great.
changes
Oh,
size.
that's great when we walk in and it's got all the new lighting in the TARDIS. It looks stunning.
It is great.
And Pete turns around and he, like, flocks out his
I do wish
suit.
every Doctor gets a cool costume, like, scene. We kind of just got him being like, yeah, I've got it already. I wish I could have seen him
Yeah, a bit.
pick it out.
Kristen.
No.
Yeah, not every Doctor has, I don't think. But yeah, I guess. But also,
But it's so iconic, and it's my favorite Doctor Who costume, though.
Really?
I would have loved to have seen... Oh, yeah, I love Pete's costume so much.
I love it, but...
I love Pete's Doctor so much. So.
Yeah, same. And I think
So great.
the red velvet suit in particular is the one that I absolutely love.
That's my favorite. The red velvet is my favorite. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
The red velvet is my favorite.
Yeah.
Doctor Who costume.
That would have to battle Matt's
So
second, his series
The season
7B
7B.
costume. Those are my two favorite, and they're quite similar, which is interesting.
I touched the Heaven Sent version of the costume of the red velvet at the Doctor Who experience.
You touched it.
I touched it.
You went up and you went.
I literally just went.
Caressed.
I know.
Peter Capaldi.
I'm more just like round my thumb like that, And it felt great. Like,
and the alarms
it felt
went off.
so good. No, there's literally
What's
people...
it in Monsters Inc. when they come through the ceiling? Like,
Yeah,
we got a 1738. We got a 1738. Oh, I don't know the numbers.
I know. But, like, there are people walking around saying, like, you know, don't touch anything. But it was a couple of weeks to closing. Like, the actual experience. I literally went a couple of weeks before it closed. And I was like... There was literally no one around. It was literally just me. I went with my cousin. He was somewhere else. I was literally just in the area, and it was like it wasn't even the Heaven Sent setup. It was the Face the Raven setup. But he wears it in Face the Raven and Heaven Sent. And I was just like,
you went like this. You felt it, and then you went,
Pete.
and you smelt it. It like smells like Pete.
It's my favorite. But to see it, I've told my girlfriend this so many times to the point now where she just like says, "Don't talk about it again." But I'm like, I've seen my favorite Doctor Who costume in person.
Yeah,
and I love it so much.
Yeah, I don't think there was Pete stuff there when I went.
Maybe not. No, because
I went. I think the newest stuff there was Time with the Doctor stuff. I think when I went.
Yeah, because you didn't go. You didn't get the experience with Pete in the, you got the experience before.
Mine was the Matt Smith version.
I got the Peter Capaldi one.
Mm-hmm. Damn, I mean, it's great for both of them.
I'm sure it's the same thing.
No, I think they changed the plot a bit. I've seen some of the clips of
oh, do they?
Yeah, the Smith one started, and it was like a bit of like a montage and clip or something of him, and then the crack opens in the wall. The from Smith's era,
so,
and then it opens and you walk through the crack. I think
they might have kept that.
Interesting,
but
that's weird.
I think maybe it was so long ago. I remember, I remember just going there and just being like, "This is so cool!" Like, it was awesome.
It was awesome.
And I was a grown ass adult, but it was like awesome to actually just go to it and just like be like, "Yeah, I'm here," and just singing all that stuff. Like the bit before was fun, all the Daleks and stuff. But like actually just to go around and see all the props was just like amazing. I did a vlog about it on my Conor channel.
Yeah, there's a vlog. Was it on Nerd Life Reviews? Did I make a vlog? Stop burping, Conor.
I'm sorry.
It's disgusting.
I'm sorry.
Did you?
I'm sorry.
Did I put a vlog on the Nerd Life Reviews channel of me going?
Yeah, you did, but I
deleted it.
No, it's still on there.
Is it? I couldn't find it.
I didn't delete any Doctor Who. I didn't delete anything off Nerd Life. I just privated it all. Most
I don't know to log into Nerd Life though, so
I use Nerd Life like every day to watch YouTube videos. I don't upload to anymore, but I've still got it.
Send me the link to the private video of it.
I can unlist it.
Yeah, put it on the list and send it to me because I'd love to see it.
Okay, yeah. I've still got it.
Yeah, I'd really love to see it.
I've been randomly watching some of those videos recently, and it's just been a nostalgia trip.
Just a joy.
No.
Just a joy.
No.
No, it's sad
joy
time.
is not the word I'd use. It's not enjoyable at all.
We finish up in Glasgow.
Yeah.
Doctor's hometown.
Oh. Yeah, well, there's actually, before that, there's a really nice scene with Vastra. And it does feel, I don't know if Moff was planning on it being her last scene, but it does feel very nice that it is. Yeah. Because it's a very nice last scene.
It is.
But Jenny and Strax just don't get anything.
Yeah, they just disappear. Yeah.
You're like, fuck them.
To be fair, Strax is still in Doctor Who. Or like Dan Starkey is. Yeah. But yeah, that scene, I remember I loved it at the time, when, on the phone to Matt. And, I know you were saying the episode kind of feels a lot of the time like Moffat's talking to the viewers, and it's like, I know he's old. But I love that this episode really took the role of the companion and used it well, because the role of the companion is the role of the audience in a way, right? They ask the questions. And in this situation, they put the companion in a place where, she's not sure about this new Doctor. Like everyone was in the first episode of like every Doctor, right? You're always unsure of them.
Not me.
Sometimes it takes an entire season to warm up to them, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was so clever to use Clara in that way for the audience. And then I know at the end it's like, just trust me or whatever. Give him a chance. I just thought was great.
Agree.
And Pete felt so real. And he was like, "You're on the phone to me."
I think it's great. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think that like it just sucked because I watched this episode with my parents, and my parents really fucking hate Peter's Doctor, and they never really gave him a chance. I always just have like PTSD when lines like that come up, because this is the kind of thing my parents say. They're like, "Oh, the Doctor can't be old." When like, look at
bloody
Liam
first
Hartnell,
Doctor, mate.
Look at Patrick Troughton. Look at John Pertwee. Like,
Pertwee.
Fuck me. Yeah, like look
Dylan's
at all that
out there
stuff.
sharpening his arrows.
Get like, doing.
Take you out.
The Times, it's just in a yeah. So that's what kind of. But I ain't against it. I love Pete, and also I think it's really cool that the costume he gets like 4 costume changes in the episode, and I feel like he's almost like, I made this comment in my review when I was like 15 years old, and I still stand by it. I feel like he's slowly progressing to his new costume. Because he changed it like, I think 3 times?
He changes it heaps in the episode. I thought that as well, actually. I think he has 4 different costumes in the episode.
Yeah, so he's got Matt's, then he wears the
nightgown.
Nightgown, then he wears
like
the homeless thing. And then he wears the suit from the he's wearing the face mask he pulls off from the guy in the thing. Yeah. And then he finally wears
a 5, yeah. Yeah, they each one gets closer and closer to his actual one, doesn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, it's like 5 costume changes.
Crazy.
And I always feel like it's like him progressing up to his final costume, and I think that's great. The costume changes are awesome.
They are awesome.
Yeah. And he actually kind of rocks all of them.
He does.
The man rocks a nightgown.
Even the nightgown, when he's like falling from the tree with his legs out.
Yeah, it's awesome. Funny. It's great.
Yeah, so then they leave to go get coffee, which was a fun ending, and that comes up in Into the Dalek as well.
3 weeks ago in Glasgow.
Yeah,
3 weeks. That's a long time.
I'm keen to get to that.
Yeah, it's great. Phil Ford comes back.
Was his last one Waters of Mars?
Yep. So that's it. He does Wars of Mars and Into Dalek, and that's it.
Just those 2.
Just those 2, and they're both co-written.
And Dreamland.
He does Dreamland, and he also
he does some Sarah Jane.
He does some Sarah Jane, and I said in our Torture Part 2 review that I said Toby Whithouse writes Gwen's wedding episode. It's not. It's Phil Ford.
Interesting.
That's how I remember the episode. Phil Ford. Yeah, right. And I remember that episode just being so wacky and fun. So yeah, keen. Phil Ford, come back. Oh, if come on. Can afford Stephen knows. Russell knows how good Phil was.
I think he's
like, come back. Let's write an episode again. Disappoint fans.
All right, let's move on to. Also, sorry, before we say that, you also hear that Octo Moody, who we called Peter, Peter Malark.
Yeah, Peter Malark. Go on.
Peter Malark, who was the new addition from last week's episode.
He's happy.
The little squid that can change its emotion depending on how we feel about the episode. Peter is happy today. Peter Capaldi.
Yep.
Peter Malark is happy today. So that's good because it's great.
My present to Aidan.
That's right. I love it. He's cute. I love the colour. It's a lovely colour.
Yeah, I thought you'd like it.
Yeah, I like blue. Yeah,
all
right, let's move on to Australia's second favourite segment.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Man's
I keep my burps inside me and just let out this little...
I do that
but
too.
You go...
No, you know what?
It's like a Tuscan Raider.
Do you know what I do? Aidan, one of my heroes, Howard Stern, always says that he's like, I let my gas come out.
Sorry, can't hear you.
Shut the fuck up.
This is the segment where we...
Fuck you.
Connor's trying to explain himself.
No, he just burps on air, and I love Howard Stern, and he's like, the audience can relate to it. So I wasn't even doing it on the mic. It won't even care. It won't even pick it up.
This is a segment where we talk about all the behind-the-scenes facts. We pull back the curtain on the episode. Now we didn't have a lot for this episode because I didn't have a lot of time to do research.
Jesus.
So we got
2 things.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Nothing.
Okay. But there's two main things for this episode, right? Actually, let's do 3. Let's reuse a fact, which is that Matt recorded his scene in this during recording Time of the Doctor and stuff.
Yeah.
Not during recording of this episode, right? He didn't come back for it. It was pre-done. Very intelligent move from Moffat, right? Set up the phone
it's like,
thing.
Matt, come back.
But in terms of a couple of actual interesting tidbits, is that the first 5 scripts of this series were leaked online. Do you remember that?
I do.
A server in Hawaii was hacked.
I do remember that.
That's how they got them.
I do remember that. And I remember the actual episode got leaked online as well in black and white. Remember that?
In black and white.
Was it
that was my second fact.
Episodes got leaked?
The first 5 scripts got leaked. But the first episode got... So Deep Breath was released in just a rough cut, so it's not the final cut.
Right.
In black and white with unfinished VFX shots and things like that.
That's right.
So...
Crazy.
Yeah, just crazy that kind of thing actually bloody even happened, you know?
That is mad.
Mad. All right, yeah, that's it.
I think the homeless man that Peter Capaldi talks to is apparently Elizabeth Sladen's husband. I think I heard.
Really, I feel like
from years ago I heard that. Right. I don't want to say that if it's not, but I think it was. I think it was Liz Sladen's husband. I might be totally wrong.
Let's see.
I don't want.
Who do you think he is? The footman, maybe.
The footman. Man's got a foot fetish.
Who's Paul Casey
Neistat is in this episode.
No, because he's 48. Who is it? Inspector Alf? Could it be Alf?
I think that's the inspector.
Is it?
I don't know, but I heard
Alf the inspector.
I heard that he was. I remember seeing it on Instagram literally years ago, so I'll just search Liz Sladen's.
Yeah, that's probably a way easier way to find.
But see if he looks anything like the guy in the episode. But yeah, it kind of looks like. It actually kind of does. It kind of. I'm gonna put Doctor Who. It kind of does look like him. That does look like him.
Yeah, it does.
I think it is him.
Does it say his name there? We're debunking live on air, folks.
Liz Sladen's husband, Brian. Anything Brian?
Brian Miller.
Hey!
He plays Barney. He plays Barney in this. So he's 80. He's a British actor and personality. He was married to Elizabeth Sladen.
Hey. King.
There you go.
Rest in peace, a legend.
Yeah, that's right.
Elizabeth Sladen.
Oh my God, he's in Doctor Who back in 1983 as well. He plays Dugdale in Snake Dance, which I haven't seen.
Man, what a loss.
And he plays
poor guy.
Harry Salisbury in the Mad Woman in the Attic parts 1 and 2 of the Sarah Jane Adventures.
And he's in Coronation.
He's in Coronation. Line of Duty. He's in Wizards vs. Aliens, Russell's first show after Doctor Who. Do you remember that?
I do. Line of Duty, my mum finally finished that this week. I kept mentioning you.
I've not watched the last season, so.
Oh, okay.
It's not on Stan.
You can have my BritBox. I was like, Aidan watched it. I don't know why. It's not something he would watch, but he did.
It's pretty solid.
Is it?
Yeah, hit and miss. It gets really good, and then
I heard the end was a bit of a miss.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Calling a mum.
You really got me hyped for it, man.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
I want to watch it.
Watch it then. Take my BritBox.
Take my money. All right, shall we move on to Australia's third favourite segment?
Yeah, go on.
It's time for Just Twitter Tings. This is the segment where you can reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram at 50doctor, and you can tell us your lovely thoughts on the episodes that we're talking about. Aidan's talking very slowly as he slowly
pulls up Twitter
and pulls up what he is looking for. Now, I made a mistake this week, Connor, in putting my thing up on Twitter.
Why?
I made...
So many people replied you can't even read them all?
That's exactly the problem. No. Well, you see, what happened was I made a joke along with my question. So, I asked everyone's opinion on Deep Breath, and then I put in the comments saying, actually, the 12th Doctor's first adventure was the Day of the Doctor, in quotation marks.
That was funny.
So I was like, actually, the 12th Doctor's first adventure was in the Day of the Doctor. And then I wrote, Get Out. And then people just laughed at that. And that
I laughed at that.
That was the main focus of the interactions on Twitter this week. There's a few comments. But that was...
Okay.
That was got most of the attention. People were liking it and stuff, and I was like, but you're missing the point of the tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's what I call comedy. Simply said, Daddy Pete. And then we got Dylan, who says, underrated in my opinion, lots of fun, wish I had more to say about it. It doesn't really work as an introduction to Doctor Who. It's very messy and relies on the audience knowing the previous lore of the show. He doesn't usually... Sorry, my internet's being slow, so I'm just doing this from memory now. He doesn't usually remember this kind of... He doesn't usually care too much about this kind of thing, but he feels like the start of every Doctor should be a new kind of jumping on point for the show. Also, when I was 14, I made a video review for the episode, and it was just me holding my breath for a minute.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Now that's what I call Comedy Podcast awesome. Says, and how that's comedy.
Hey.
Hey.
Did your internet just like bust itself?
Yeah, it's back now. I got it.
Okay.
But yeah, I get that. I think it is good for each Doctor to start with an era that is welcoming to anyone. I think this episode isn't the most welcoming, but I also think it does to an extent work. But also it's nice because we get so many of those reboots, and it's like you don't have to reboot a show every three seasons. You know, like shows don't just run for 3 seasons usually.
Yeah. Okay. We've got right here.
Right now. Yeah,
finally, I actually got a poll that's not just 100% to one side, which I always love.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, deep breath. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Yes, 83%.
They love it. 83% love it.
17%.
Wow.
So actually, finally, a poll that's not just 100% on one side, which I
controversial. Well, it's still quite loved.
It's still loved. Man in the Pompadour, I got sent by Xavier. And finally, our review from Jacob. He says, deep breath review. What is there to say? This episode is just solid. Peter
I have no idea what you just said.
Blah, blah, blah. What is there to say? This episode is just solid. Peter is great as always. However, he hasn't become my favourite Doctor yet. Wow. What the hell? Yet, this will come in a later series. Missing the juice. It's on the set. What? Missing the set is introduced on the set for the Go Away.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, it's also in another spin-off
that's
at
crazy.
some point, I think.
That's so crazy. Yeah, that's so true. The return of the villains from the Gun in the Fireplace is a nice addition, although Dinosaur was a bit pointless. Matt Smith's inclusion is something I'm indecisive about. In my opinion, changed from liking it to not liking it. However, this is a good introduction and to the era of the show. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Honestly, totally agree. Yeah.
Interesting. Nah, it's great.
Well, you've always liked it, haven't you?
What are you going to give it out of 10, Con?
7, like Jacob.
7 out of 10?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
That's been fair. I was going to give it 7.5.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I like it that much.
Well, I enjoy it very much, Lee. I find a lot of rewatch value out of it. I think it's a lot of fun. Loses me a little bit in the end. I don't know why. I'm not quite sure why. I think it might just be... I don't want to say it's the runtime because, you know, we watch like 2-hour movies and stuff. So there's no reason why...
Sometimes 3-hour movies.
Sometimes Drive My Car is a long film. That is 3 hours long.
I don't know what that is.
It's
They got Tom Hardy in it?
No, it's a Japanese film.
Okay.
Good? Would be good if I hadn't smashed 4 pints in like an hour and a half.
That's me you saw on your first sleeping.
And it was 8 p.m. that the session started, so... And I've been at work all day.
Is it everyone just driving in the car the whole time?
No. There's very little driving in it, actually.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
It's a good movie.
Okay.
I think it is actually probably
for the time that you were awake.
It's probably a great movie, but I was not in the mood to be watching that movie at that time. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Not good. Drive My Car. Deep breath. I'm giving it an 8.
What do you give Drive My Car?
So that's a good... probably like a 7. But I think if I watched it not like in a let's watch a Japanese subtitled movie.
Let's watch
Drive My Car and made a YouTube video on it. Then I would give it something higher, I think. But yeah, Deep Breath's got an 8 for me. I really loved it.
Awesome.
I really like it. Pete, God, it's so good to have Pete, and we're on to Into the Dalek next week, which is great.
Yeah, can't wait.
We get to meet Danny Pink next week.
Hey! Danny Pink, I forgot about him.
I think he just has a couple of scenes, but
he is in it though.
He is in it. Yeah. He is. Yeah.
Awesome.
How lovely.
Looking forward to it.
So an 8 from me and a 7 from Conor. Guys, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
And listening. We have our fun. You can find
Do you need a pee?
No, why?
Okay, I thought you were jiggling around because you hadn't pissed the whole time. Normally you go out for a
it's only my 3rd beer. You knocked 5 back.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
I spent so much time talking.
Sorry.
I dominate this podcast. I'm annoying.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Anything else you want to say?
Nah.
Because I clearly just let my mouth gob away.
No, it's fine. Honestly, go for it.
Okay. All right, let's wrap up the show. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 50Doctor, and you can watch the videos over on the YouTube channel at the 50% Doctor Who Podcast.
Yeah.
I've been Aidan.
I'm Conor.
That's great. And this is Peter Malak. And we'll see you next time. Whoa.
Cheers, boys and girls.
Let's sing.
Cheers.
It's Aidan.
Fucking hell, we did this last week. You need to count down for me.
It did it on Monday. It's Thursday.
Podcast. We're doing Doctor Who reviews. Doing Doctor Who reviews. Pete's title sequence we never spoke about.
So good.
Should we do that next week?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
It's great though.
It feels like we shouldn't have that conversation.
It's really good though.
After everyone's switched off. Yeah.
It's really good though.
I'll keep my thoughts till next week.
Sure. It's really good. You think it's really good?
Disagree.
Really?
No comment. Find out next week.
Really?
I'm not telling you.
Will you tell me off air?
No.
Yeah, you will.
No, I'll keep you on edge till next week.
You've always liked it.
Have I? When have I ever said I've liked Pete's title sequence?
Now you know he doesn't like it.
Yeah, well, next week. I'm putting my beer down, I'm pressing record, and I'm kicking the fuck out of my house.
You can't edit that bit out, you know.